Hi, so you probably found this video because you are online doing a Google search looking for information on how to become a legal nurse consultant. And I wanted to share my experience with you and offer some possibility for mentorship, where you can learn how I built my business and how you can build yours. So my name is Tara Godoy. I am a forensic nurse. That's my main area of expertise is in strangulation and blunt force trauma. I work primarily in criminal law. Really fun, really exciting, but not for everybody. And so we also do in my company, we also do a lot of civil cases as well, a lot of medical malpractice and personal injury. And the way I started was pretty similar to probably what you're doing right now, just doing research and finding out what my options are on getting up and running and up and trained.
My initial why was that I couldn't work in the hospital anymore due to a high-risk pregnancy where I worked in the emergency department and had a complication, and so therefore decided that for the safety of my daughter, I needed to quit clinical nursing. And so I had an immediate need for a replacement in my revenue, and also just for me to work. I'm the kind of person that I have to work. And so that's why I started looking into legal nurse consulting. And just like you, I went to the internet and said, how do I become a legal nurse consultant?
And I did a certain certification course, and then I was lucky enough to find a mentor. And I will tell you that the certification course had a lot of really good information, but what I really learned was what I learned when I was working with my mentor.
I found a nurse who was successful in her business. She told me how to write reports, and she told me what attorneys, probably more importantly, she told me what attorneys needed out of the reports, and how to approach things, and how to review things, and how to set up systems, and all of that. So I was lucky enough to have a mentor, and that's what I feel. I attribute that my success to her.
But really, it's just getting started. That's the hardest part, and kind of getting the guts to put yourself out there and introduce yourself to the world of attorneys and the courts and law and all that, and decide what you want to do. And there's a lot of different options that you can do when it comes to legal nurse consulting and forensic nursing. The first pick that you have to make is whether or not you want to do civil work or criminal work. My background is emergency and trauma. And so when I started looking into legal nurse consulting in 2009, I thought that I would do medical malpractice because that seemed like the only thing that was out there. But I ended up, while I was working with my mentor, I ended up getting subpoenaed for a patient that I had taken care of when I was working in the emergency room, and it was on a criminal case. And so the investigator that delivered the subpoena to me, I was speaking with him and told him, hey, I'm doing this legal nurse consulting thing. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you on any of your other cases. And he said, well, actually, I have 1,200 pages of medical records that on an attempted murder case, and I don't think the attorney knows what to do with it. Do you think you could help us? And I said, yes, absolutely, I can help you. And really had no idea what I was getting into. This was a felony case. It's not exactly the type of case most people cut their teeth on. But I was lucky enough that the attorney was very willing to work with me. And I kept saying things like, well, the standard of care was met. And he says, I don't really care about the standard of care. So that's one of the biggest differences between the criminal and the civil cases, is that on the civil cases, you are looking at the standard of care, whether it's the standard of care of nurses or doctors. You're looking to make sure that the care that was rendered while the patient was in the hospital or in the clinic was being rendered correctly. Or in a personal injury case, you're looking at past medical history compared to existing injuries. So in my mind, the personal injury cases are actually very similar to criminal cases, because what you're looking at is not the standard of care. You're looking at injuries, how they happened, how past medical history affects those injuries, and a lot of that, and a lot of the care that was rendered, but not in the sense of whether it was rendered appropriately, but whether or not it was necessary, whether the person needed that care and the costs that are, basically, did they need that care based solely on the injury, or was it based off of their past medical history?
So my focus is actually on criminal law, but I also have quite a few civil cases that come through my office. My original business, however, was I tried to market to civil attorneys, and so I know the pitfalls of that and what makes it hard and what is successful and all of that.
Anyway, so that was back in 2009, and I got my first criminal case and started marketing myself to criminal attorneys, both prosecutors and defense attorneys. And then fast forward 10 years later, I now have 4 physicians that subcontract and testify under my company name. I have 8 nurses, not including myself, that 2 of which testify. The other 6 are consulting nurses. 3 of them are primarily civil. Well, 2 of them are primarily civil. 1 kind of crosses over between civil and criminal. And then the rest are all criminal nurses. And then I myself testify and consult. In my company, we have reviewed over 1,000 cases, almost 1,100 actually, and I have worked nationwide from Florida to California, from Montana to Texas. So I have worked, you can work anywhere. Testifying, you have to be willing to travel, but you can testify anywhere. And there's a lot of things that you can offer as a nurse that doctors can't offer, not the least of which is that you're going to be cheaper. You're not going to bill as much per hour as most doctors do. So anyways, what I'd like to tell you about now is my apprenticeship program. And if you're interested, I'm offering a program where you come to my office here in California and you spend a week, 5 business days in my office shadowing me. You watch me review cases, we discuss them. You watch me write reports, we discuss them. If I go to court and testify, you go and you watch.
I want to teach, and I want to be that mentor. I like teaching, I like helping people, and if you decide to apply for my apprenticeship program, I think one of the most important things that you need to know is that it's not going to be just the time that you spend with me in my office, but you'll get me as a mentor.
And I really just honestly think that just like nursing school really gave us a solid foundation, we didn't really learn how to be nurses until we went to the hospital and got our clinical experience. And that's the same thing that's going to apply here. I'm going to teach you how to communicate with attorneys and what they expect from you. I'm going to teach you how to write reports. I'm going to teach you how to build your business and the important things to keep in mind that you're not likely to know because that's not something we learn in nursing school.
I can help you with relationships with attorneys. I can help you with report writing. I can help you with testifying. I can help you with other services that you might want to provide, such as trial support, writing cross-examination questions, anything along those lines, declarations, both written, verbal, just a number of different things. But probably more importantly, the most important thing is that the goal of the program is to help you be successful in your business and to individualize the training program to you and your needs and what you want.
So if that's something you're interested in, please contact me. I can give you more information about cost and availability and what the expectations would be. So anyways, that's all for today, and I sure hope that I hear from you soon. Thanks.